And oh boy. All right, let's make sure the YouTube's awake first. There we are. All right, let me just make sure everything's good here. And yeah, it looks like we're good. Guys, sorry, I am technically 2 minutes late. It has been a hell of a morning. It's been it's as you all likely already know, it was not the world's best night last night. It wasn't good, and of course we're gonna get into it, but it's also been a pretty rough morning on a number of levels. First of all, I want to start with a moment of sincerity, and I guess first of all, welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, world's first curated streaming news show. And there's a couple breaking pieces of information today. First of all, Los Angeles and Pasadena and surrounding areas have all declared a state of emergency, as there have been a couple cases reported in the past 48 hours of the coronavirus. And guess who has two thumbs and has a wedding in Southern California this weekend? This guy. So I've been a little it's a little overwhelming at the moment. I thought about maybe I just shouldn't do a stream today. But I'll be honest with you guys and take this for the compliment that it is. Whenever things are really bad in the world and I do a stream, I always feel better after. I feel a little less alone. I feel a little less isolated, and I feel a little bit better about the world. And I hope that I do the same for you, even when there's not a lot of great news, which today there isn't. That's just the reality. Yesterday, a couple people, well, actually it was my fiance. I'm saying these people, it was actually my fiance. Graham Elwood and I went live after Super Tuesday on the Political Vigilante, and we stayed live for over 4 hours to talk about the results. And, it was a little frustrating. We were watching it in real time, just like everyone else. And some of those results were kind of hard to take. And it wasn't a good night. I mean, it was a loss. And my fiance said that my fiance watched some of the stream, which she usually does not watch any of my shows, which I like it that way. Actually, she doesn't need to watch this. She gets this at home. She doesn't. She's like, I get my news on with Ron whether I want to or not. That's my fiance's world. She gets her news on with me even when she doesn't want to. She gets pop-up shows constantly where we're just sitting around having dinner. And she's like, oh, how are the Brussels sprouts? And I'm just like, this oligarchy's going down the tank. She doesn't need. So anyway, she watched some of the stream and she's like, I felt like you came off a little too negative and a little. And look, I tweeted this out. I don't think I'm a negative guy. I really don't. I like to think of myself as a constructive cynic, meaning I have a certain amount of cynicism towards it all that's warranted, that's justified. And there's a difference between constructive cynicism and counterproductive cynicism. Those are two different things. And having a certain amount of cynicism towards our structure, I think is not only healthy, but I think it's just a rational response. How can you look around and just be like, we're totally fine, everything's good, and the only thing that matters is we all go to heaven at the end. You know what I mean? But the thing about me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys who are regulars to the show, you already know this about me. I'm not somebody that sugarcoats a loss. And I feel like I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where football is a way of life. And just it's a big sports town in general. And I feel like that's where I can kind of trace that back to, I grew up, you would listen to the coaches, whenever they would lose, they'd be like, well, a loss is a loss. We don't sugarcoat a loss. You win some, you lose some, you learn from your losses and you keep fighting but you don't sugarcoat it. You don't pat yourself on the back. And I guess even though I don't really watch the NFL much at all anymore, and I'm more of a hockey guy. If the years have gone by, I've just migrated more towards hockey. I just enjoy it better. But I don't know. I don't like to sugarcoat losses. And I know that Bernie's live right now, and that's awesome. And in fact, you know what? Maybe we should check out some of Bernie. Maybe we'll do that. But let me get my tech situated here. Here we go. This is what happens when you're a one-man shop. You just have really twisted earbuds that you plug in. But last night was a loss. You know, that's just the reality. I mean, like last night was a loss because what we really needed, and when I say I mean Bernie 2020. We really needed a dominating win. And there were a couple states that Bernie lost that I still don't have an explanation. I don't know. Why did he lose Massachusetts? I don't know. Why would he lose Massachusetts? Minnesota. I don't understand it. And then as far as I know, as of the recording of this right now, they're saying Maine is too close to call. In California, it looks like Bernie won California, which is good. That was definitely a good thing. But it doesn't look like the delegates have actually been awarded yet. And the reason I say that, this is the good part, because, you know, it looks like the total count might still be in Bernie's favor, but nonetheless, there needed to be a big dominating win where Bernie is the undisputed front runner and no one's touching him. We didn't get that. We did not get that. That's what we needed. That's what we did not get. So is it over? Of course not. It's not over. And, you know, a kind of positive takeaway from it is, hey, Bloomberg's out now. Liz Warren, she may be dropping. And you know what? It doesn't matter who she is endorsing. You know, I want Liz Warren to drop out at this point. But it really doesn't matter who she endorses. If she endorses Bernie, well, that's good. If she endorses Biden, well, then everybody is just totally confirmed as to who she is. So, and some of her supporters are going to go to Bernie no matter what. Some of her supporters are going to go to Biden no matter what. That's the reality of it. Her endorsement is not going to have a whole lot of pull one way or another because she's not a leader. So, you know, like, I want Warren to drop out. Who she endorses, you know, I hope it's Bernie, but I'm not counting on that. If I had to make a prediction, I would say she's going to endorse Biden, not Bernie. I'd be more surprised if she endorsed Bernie. I'm hoping it happens, but I'm certainly not counting on it. I'm not counting on it. And no matter what she does, there's going to be some of her supporters that are going to go over to Bernie. There's going to be some that go to Biden, no matter who she endorses. And if you're really hoping for a Bernie endorsement, I advise you to not get your hopes up. I would advise you to not get your hopes up. My guess is either she won't make an endorsement or she'll endorse Biden. So we'll see. But I could be wrong. So let's go here first. There was a lot of attempted, and you know, another reason to have a little bit of optimism here is they tried, especially in California and Texas, they tried every inkling of voter suppression they could. Here's a tweet from Dr. Jill Stein. Reports of voter suppression hit hard in Texas and California. Countless stories of grueling lines up to 7 hours, overwhelmingly in communities of working class students, people of color. How many votes were suppressed? How did it change the outcome? So here's the last voter at Texas Southern University. It took Hervis Rogers nearly 7 hours to vote tonight. And here's Chuck Schumer faking outrage about this. This is unacceptable. I'm never going to do anything about this, but it's unacceptable. Shut up, Chuck. No one wants to hear from you. This is what voter suppression looks like. Absolutely. This is what voter suppression looks like. And, you know, in California, where I'm at, we are not given receipts when we vote. We were not given receipts with these new machines. Oh, and by the way, these new machines, they were malfunctioning everywhere, just like we predicted they would. When I went and voted, and I know I've told this story before, I'm going to tell it again. I went and voted on a Monday, because I was able to beat the Super Tuesday rush. I voted on a Monday. Me and my fiance were doing a bunch of wedding obligations, doing a bunch of wedding errands. And we were like, let's go vote. It's not Tuesday, it's Monday. Even just on that Monday where the line was not very long because it was the middle of the afternoon on Monday, people had gone to multiple places because the machines were down, the Wi-Fi was down. Where we were, and again, I was voting in Pasadena City Hall, which, by the way, if you saw that and you recognize it, Pasadena City Hall was Pawnee. It's where Parks and Rec was filmed. And Nick Offerman voted in the same place as I did. We did vote for different people. That's a fun fact. Ron Swanson voted for Liz Warren. Ron Placone voted for Bernie Sanders. But anyway, so half of the machines were down. And this is in a city hall, by the way. Half of the machines were down. Only half of them were working. And they were going in and out all day. Some of the people who were in line in front of us, one woman, she was saying this is the third place she went to vote that day. She went to 2 other places. The machines were down. There were a couple situations, and this was mostly in neighborhoods with a lot of students and neighborhoods with a lot of Latinx people, where they were just handed provisional ballots. They were like, hey, the machines are down. Here's your provisional ballot. If you don't take this, just go home. And provisional ballots don't get counted. That's, I know they say they get a ton were not counted in 2016. So that was happening. Yet despite it all, people still showed up. And yeah, it looks like Biden did win Texas, but he only won by a little bit. So Bernie Sanders is still going to get a lot of delegates out of those. In California, Bernie won pretty handily. Looks like we're going to win pretty handily. So, last night was, and let's take a look at the count. So here's the count. This is from Vox. So with the race still to be called in California, following Super Tuesday delegates have been awarded. Biden 408, Bernie 344, Bloomberg, who dropped out, 46, Warren 26, Gabbard 1. And yeah, here's where we're at so far. Picked up delegates on Super Tuesday. Biden 465, Sanders 406, Bloomberg 46, Warren 36, Klobuchar was 7, who dropped out, Buttigieg with 26, who dropped out, Gabbard with 1. The remaining presidential candidates are all competing for a majority of the 3,979 pledged delegates. When Super Tuesday is done, 1,344 will have been spoken for. It's important to note we likely won't know the final allotment for days or possibly weeks as votes from California are counted. So here, let's go to the live results, see if there's anything. So there you go. And yeah, some of these I just don't. So California still, like, they haven't really, the dust hasn't settled, but it's looking good for Bernie in California. Texas, Biden edged out on. North Carolina, I was surprised by this one. I was surprised Biden won North Carolina. Virginia, I kind of expected. Massachusetts, very surprised. I did not expect Biden to win Massachusetts. I did not expect Biden to win Minnesota. Colorado, Sanders, that was a good showing. Utah, Sanders, good showing. Maine, looks like they called Maine for Biden. Let's go to those results. So I thought as of this morning, Maine was too close to call. Now they're saying, look how close that was. Man. Maine looks like, I know it's tough to read here, but Maine, 34.12% for Joe Biden, 32.78% for Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden is just edging Bernie Sanders out in Maine. And I have no idea why. These are states Bernie really should have dominated in. So, this is a loss. I mean, this is, and again, I'm sure there's other shows that are tying a bow and putting the bow on the loss. This is a loss. Bernie lost yesterday. But it's far from over. Within a loss, sometimes you have some glimmers of hope. And there were definitely some glimmers of hope. California, glimmer of hope. How close it was in Texas, glimmer of hope. Colorado dominated, glimmer of hope. Shahid Buttar made the runoff. And he's going to be competing with Nancy Pelosi in November. That's a glimmer of hope. So yes, there were a couple moments to smile yesterday. I'm not trying to make it out like it's all doom and gloom. But you know what? You got to know that, well, I said no matter what happens, we always need to be behaving like Bernie is 50 points behind. Now we really need to be behaving that way. He's not, but you know what I mean? Because, you know, like so many people have said, Bernie needs to overwin. He needs to overwin to the point where the establishment says we can't cheat on this one. We can't hand it off to the establishment on this one. We can't do it. It needs to be so overwhelming that they can be like, we can't take this. We can't take it this time. And if it's not, it's just going to go to a second ballot. The superdelegates are going to hand the nomination off to Biden. And then guess what happens? Biden's going to get crushed by Trump. Biden will lose to Trump. And then we got 4 more years of Trump with climate collapse at our doorstep, with, you know, a discrepancy between the rich and the poor that resembles the robber baron days, with education becoming a tool solely for the elite, with Wall Street going completely unchecked, with student loan debt being completely out of control, people dying on the streets without access to healthcare in the richest country in the world, a coronavirus outbreak and people still can't go to the doctor. That's all at stake. And we are running the high risk of 4 more years of Trump. And the Democratic establishment has made it clear. I mean, this is, and Fiorella Isabella tweeted something like this out, and I tweeted something similar out, and then I noticed she tweeted hers a little bit before mine, so I deleted mine because they were too similar. But this is domestic collusion. You know, they always talk about collusion. This is collusion. It's just collusion to stop Bernie Sanders. There is collusion between the DNC, between the Biden campaign, between the Klobuchar campaign, between the Buttigieg campaign. They even threw Beto O'Rourke in there. And now Mike Bloomberg. Look, Mike Bloomberg just dropped out this morning. Mike Bloomberg dropped out. Here's what all that was. Joe Biden, they wanted him to be the establishment frontrunner. Liz Warren, they want her to take votes away from Bernie. Mike Bloomberg was the ace in the hole. If everyone goes for the outsider, maybe you need an outsider, quote unquote, to beat Trump. Well, Bloomberg's going to be that outsider. So if Bloomberg is the chosen one, then they'll just move over to Bloomberg. Bloomberg wasn't. He didn't show up Super Tuesday. So now he's dropping out. And what is he doing? He's endorsing Joe Biden. So this is all according to their plan. This is collusion against Bernie. And Bernie needs to overcome all this. And we need to be so loud that they can't steal it from us. That's what needs to happen. And so let's take a look at what Bloomberg is saying. We'll take a look at that real quick. Bloomberg drops out after terrible Super Tuesday and endorses Biden. So former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg dropped out of the 2020 race this morning after a disappointing performance on Super Tuesday, despite spending hundreds of millions of dollars in advertisement. So here's what he had to say. 3 months ago, I entered the race for president to defeat Donald Trump. Notice how this is all a game to people like him. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show you guys the article. This is all a game for people like him. Notice, 3 months ago, I entered the race for president to defeat Donald Trump. Not to make your life better, not to instill policies that would benefit the American people, not to take this country in a better direction, not to fight climate change, but to defeat Donald Trump. Because this is all a game. This is all just a big golf game for people like Mike Bloomberg and people like Donald Trump. So he endorsed Joe Biden, saying it was clear from the Super Tuesday results that Biden was the best candidate to defeat Trump. Sure. Yeah, Joe Biden. Because that worked so well. That worked so well last time. Do you not have memory of 4 years ago? All you people were saying, well, only Biden can beat Trump. Keep in mind, all of Biden's momentum, the Joe-mentum, was all manufactured. It was all via endorsements from people he promised a favor to, like Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg and Beto O'Rourke, a cavalcade of losers, a cavalcade of washed up, pathetic losers. It was a combination of that, favorable coverage from the corporate media, nonstop favorable coverage from the corporate media, and it was just enough to scare people into thinking, well, I guess Bernie can't win. Maybe I'll stay home or maybe I'll vote for Biden. And then you add some voter suppression to it. Man, baby, you're going to try to get the results you want. So that's what we're up against. Bloomberg. What a waste of money. What a waste of money. And a waste of time. A waste of ads. But good riddance, Mike Bloomberg. Good riddance. At least we know that it's not going to be an overt racist oligarch against an overt racist oligarch in November. It might be an overt racist oligarch against a subtle racist oligarch. It might be that, but at least it won't be Bloomberg v. Trump. All right, that's great. So Bloomberg's out. And so Chris shares this, and we'll go to this. Here's a little something from California. California Democrats embrace the socialist ? We've been here before. If nothing else, Senator Bernie Sanders' robust showing in the California Democratic primary proves this. In the state that gave the nation Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, and the anti-tax revolt, a decisive chunk of the Democratic electorate is no longer allergic to the word socialism. It's a political milestone in California history, but it's not a new one. In Depression-era 1934, Upton Sinclair, the muckraking author of The Jungle, ran seeking the Democratic nomination for governor and won it decisively, racking up more than 50% of the vote. Like Sanders, Sinclair was a longtime self-described socialist, though without the Democratic suffix that the Vermont senator favors today. And like Sanders, Sinclair led a grassroots political movement that existed outside the formal Democratic Party structure, seeking to usher young radicals into the party. Sinclair went on to lose the general election for governor in a three-way race after a concerted opposition campaign from the right that equated his policies with communism. But historians say his campaign offered a strong leftward shove to both California Democratic politics and the national policy agenda of FDR's New Deal. And that's how it always goes. It's the fringe, it's the outsiders that really push the nation in a direction. And then they follow suit. And I mean, a lot of what we're going through now really mirrors what was happening in the 30s. That's why, I've been saying again, Bernie Sanders, if Bernie Sanders becomes president, which it's not over yet, folks, there is still hope. It ain't over. It's far from it. He'll only be effective as the movement behind him. He needs to look out the window and see all of us out there and be like, hey, that's who I'm reporting to. That's who elected me president. So here's what I'm going to do. And by the way, people out there, here's the people in the Congress and in the Senate that are standing in the way of my agenda. Get to work. Get them out of office. Get someone to run against them and get them out. That's what's going to have to happen. And, they're talking about how outside of the Democratic Party and outside of the establishment, Upton Sinclair built this movement. Look, the Democratic Party has proven time and time again. I mean, this has been, we've known this for a long time now. We've known this for a long time now, and I was hoping we'd have a new party. I showed up in D.C. to try to plead with Bernie Sanders to start a new party. He has said no. Tulsi Gabbard has said no. Basically, anyone with the profile to start a new party has not really embraced that. AOC, the list goes on. And people are thirsty for real solutions, and the Democratic Party has proven they'd rather just destroy themselves then let Bernie Sanders win. They have openly colluded against the one candidate who can beat Donald Trump. They throw Joe Biden up there. Biden's going to get crushed. Biden will lose worse than Hillary did. And I think they know that. I mean, it's so, only Biden can beat. No, Biden will get crushed by Trump. He just has the establishment putting the thumb on the scale for him. And you mix that with voter suppression. And that's what we saw last night in Super Tuesday. We know this book. We know how it ends. So, I mean, I don't see how anyone looks around at the Democratic Party and sees anything worth saving. And I think no matter the outcome, even if we do get a good outcome, we have to just, it's time for the party to just go away. We need a new party. We need a real, we need a real second party in this country. Not a real third party. We need a real second party. So there's a little lesson from history. And we're going to go here now. And this one is a little tough for me on a personal level. Los Angeles area officials declare emergency after confirming 6 new coronavirus cases over 48 hours. Los Angeles area officials have discovered 6 new coronavirus cases in the county over the last 48 hours. The new cases in Los Angeles County bring the state's total to 35, more than any other state. In Washington State, where at least 9 people have died, there are at least 27 cases. Did I mention I'm getting married this weekend in Southern California? I got a wedding this weekend. Yeah, this is a bummer on many levels, of course. But, you know, and of course, I wish good health to everybody involved, and I wish the best for everyone involved. But, you know, on a personal level, this is concerning. This is pretty concerning. And of course, me and my fiance are going to have a discussion when she gets home later. Los Angeles area officials have discovered 6 new cases and prompting them to declare local emergency. Catherine Barger, chairwoman of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, told reporters Wednesday that she just signed a proclamation declaring a local emergency. I want to reiterate that this is not a response rooted in panic. This is a response rooted in caution. I think she said that at some point. I'm not seeing it in the article now, but County Supervisor Hinda L. Solis said the proclamation allows local officials to further draw down resources from both the federal and state level of government. Health officials for the city of Pasadena, that's where I live, and the city of Long Beach said they too plan to declare local emergencies later Wednesday. This is a weird time for me to announce. I invited everybody. The new cases in Los Angeles County bring the state's total to 35, more than any other state, according to Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention. In Washington State, where at least 9 people have died, there are at least 27 cases. Dr. Barbara Furr, director of the County of Los Angeles Public Health Department, said the county needs to prepare for more cases, adding that all 6 new cases are linked to an assumed known exposure. So allegedly, they were all linked to travels to northern Italy. Like apparently, like it was like people coming from northern Italy. That's what all the cases have in common. Which a friend of mine lives in northern Italy. And I hope he's okay. I'm going to message him after this. But he is unable to attend the wedding. Actually, he RSVP'd, said he couldn't attend a while ago. It's just too heavy of a trip for him. And he just relocated back to Italy recently. I hope him and his family are okay. I'll be checking in with him soon. But he will not be attending the wedding. So, you know, now we're in a state of emergency. Now, San Francisco has been in a state of emergency for a while. They are still going on with their lives. I mean, honestly, the best thing you can do is just prepare. Just, you know, take preemptive caution, wash your hands, sanitize your hands. Don't touch a bunch of food and then put it back like Mike Bloomberg. I'm really glad Mike Bloomberg isn't invited to my freaking wedding. A, because it'd be a little awkward. Because I'd be like, you're a horrible human being. Why are you at my wedding? And B, because he would touch all the food and then put it back. We don't have a buffet-style wedding. But if we did, Bloomberg would be Grossy McGrosserson. You guys probably saw that video from earlier. And that'd be horrible. But, yeah. So you know what? Let's so that's going on. We've reached state of emergency. And allegedly, California, yeah, well, it's not allegedly. It looks like it's been confirmed. California also announces that we have the first coronavirus death, bringing the fatalities in the U.S. to at least 11. Oh, they haven't announced the patient's name, but it looks like the first person here. I'll show you. This is a breaking thing here. I'll read it to you. Local health officials in California announced the state's first coronavirus death, bringing U.S. fatalities to at least 11. We extend our deepest condolences to the loved ones of this patient, says the Placer County Health Officer, Dr. Amy Sisson. While we have expected more cases, this death is an unfortunate milestone in our efforts to fight this disease and one that we never want to see. All right. Whew. So all we can do is just do our best. I mean, you know, they don't have a vaccine yet. And from everything I've seen, it looks like that's at least a year away. You know, if we get one, it's at least a year away. So all you can do is just do your best to prevent. You know, maybe do a nod instead of a hug or a handshake. Maybe me and my fiance, actually, we decided we're not going to kiss. We're going to do Eskimo kisses where we blink our eyes. That's how we're going to say I do, just to be safe. Just to be safe. We're going to do Eskimo kisses. You know, we might get her a mask that matches her dress. You know, hand sanitizer. Someone recommended in the chat, hand sanitizer, wedding gifts. There you go. There you go. So there you go. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. All right. Let's go see what Bernie's saying, huh? Shall we? Let's go see what Bernie's saying. Apparently he's live now. So let's check it out. Yep. Okay, he's live now. I bet he has. I bet his numbers are a little higher than ours.
Work with them and respect them, and look forward to working with them. And by the way, let me say this, and this is true of what happened in 2016. I have not the slightest doubt that there is enormous pressure on President Obama to jump into this race and support Joe Biden. And some of you may have read the other day that he said no, that he thinks the best role that he can play, and I agree with him, is to support the winner, so he doesn't create more division. And I think he's right, but that's not easy for him to do. And I very much appreciate his willingness to do that.
Senator,
thank you.
You say you're the best candidate to defeat Donald Trump, but you've lost 9 states yesterday, so how do you still make that case?
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we came in for the end of it. Good timing. All right, we nailed it. Joe, you don't need to make a clip of this one. Guys, we're doing it live. You know, this is breaking. We came in for him talking about what Obama is going to do, which I personally don't care what Obama does. I don't care at all what Obama does. I only care as much as I need to. And what I mean by that is that, look, Obama is still a very influential figure in American politics. So if he's not going to endorse somebody and he's just going to support the winner, I'm glad to hear that. And it looks like Bernie was saying that's what Obama plans to do. I'm glad to hear that just for optics' sake. Here, let me close out of this. Yeah, boom, there we go. YouTube started up again. Oh, boy. All right, guys, so it looks like we missed that. What a day. And you know what? I got to give, I know there's been a lot of moments of sincerity today. I know that. And, but we're going to have to have another one because, you know, this morning I was texting back and forth with my mom, and I was on the phone with my mom, of course, about the outbreak that happened here in Southern California. Because, you know, we have a wedding plan this weekend. One of my groomsmen is also, he lives in Nashville, so he's without power at the moment. This is so insane. Oh, man. I don't believe in God, but if I did, I'd be really mad right now. I'd be like, why are you doing this to me? What did I do? And not just to everyone else, but what, all this the week of my wedding? Like, why does this have to happen in the world ever? Ever. This shouldn't happen in the world ever. But why now? But I mean, it's gonna be okay. I mean, I'm joking around, but you know, and so I was on the phone with my mom, of course. I've been talking to my fiance, and the other person I've been that I texted with briefly this morning was Mike Figueredo of the Humanist Report. I'm sure some of you guys are fans of the Humanist Report. He does a great show, and you may have already seen this. He's tweeted this, so I'm sure it's okay that I mention it. But he lost his father, and so I sent him a text, and of course, I like Mikey a lot. He's a great content creator, and I love his show, The Humanist Report, and he's also a friend. And so sending my condolences to him and his loved ones and his family, and wishing them all the best. So we're with you, Mikey, and wishing you all the best, buddy. I know this can't be easy. So let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, Sam Dean, I'm gonna read it in order, but you made me laugh. You definitely made me laugh. Mr. J Turner, thank you very much for the super chat contribution. I really appreciate that. Badfella 511. This is for the Bad Religion shirt. Thank you, Badfella. I appreciate that. Greg Graffin, love Bad Religion. Excuse me. Oh, there we go. Careful. Poopy Cakes, what's up? Thanks for your fantastic works. Thank you, Poopy Cakes. I appreciate that very much. Sam Dean, what's up, buddy? Good day, Ron. Ron. Can't even pack a backpack, Ron. What do you get when you combine a rhetorical question and a joke? An opening act. I met Sam in Australia, and he made fun of the way I packed my merch bag. That's what that's in reference to. For anyone who's not in the know, which you might not be, but Sam was at our Melbourne show, and he made fun of the way I packed my merch bag. Which, honestly, here's the deal. Here's a peek under the hood. My fiance typically packs my merch bag for me, which is wonderful of her to do. And she's she's just better at stuff like that than I am. Like, she knows how to like compress the shirts and stuff, and she packs them, and she does a great job. And then what happens is I unpack it to sell t-shirts, and then I have to repack it, and I have to do a job just as good as she did, and I don't. So I remember one time, this was actually recent. This was after one of our Sacramento shows. We had to hurry up, and we did a Sacramento show with the Jimmy Dore show. Graham and I were selling our stuff, and then Jimmy was at the other table, the big table, and Jimmy's at the grown-ups table, and me and Graham were at the kids table. But and you can come visit the merch kids table too. But so anyway, Wyclef Jean was actually after us, which was pretty cool. We got to see the show for free. But we had to pack up quick because they were like, dude, as people were loading in, hurry up, snap. And I was having trouble packing my shirts. And Graham just goes, did you get more shirts? Did you sell a negative number of shirts tonight? How is it harder for you to pack your bag now? And I explained, I was like, well, because my fiance, she's good at this and I'm not. And he's like, wow, dude. But anyway, thank you for that, Sam. And you got a funny burn here. Natural Progressive, what about the virus there? How many tested? There are 6 cases as of right now. There is 1 confirmed casualty, which is very, very sad to say the least. And but as far as how many people are tested, I don't know the answer there. Sam Dean, congratulations, mate. I'm sure you'll make a divorce lawyer very happy one day. Thanks, Sam Dean. Thank you. Let's see. Sajid, thank you very much. Maine called for Biden. Yeah, we saw that live. They did call Maine for Biden. And I can't explain that one. I really can't. Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, like, what? All right. Judas Priest, how do we get the AOS to examine our elections, right? I don't know, but that's, I mean, at this point, with how much voter suppression there was just out in the open, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And then we got one more. Sparky says, God's punishing you for not voting Tulsi. All right. I guess we'll see. You guys are saying cheating, rigged. I'm with you. And Sparky also says, amazing how many came out and voted for Trump. Too bad they didn't vote for Tulsi and give her a boost. They could still vote Trump in the general. Mazel tov. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. All right. So thank you guys all for your Super Chat contributions. Thank you, Mr. J. Turner. Thank you, Bad Fella. Thank you, Poopy Cakes. Thank you, Sam Dean. Thank you, Natural Progressive. Thank you, Sam Dean again. Thank you, Sajid. Thank you, Sparky. Thank you, Dudas Priest. Thank you, Sparky. I appreciate it, guys. I really do. Crazy times. There's no other way to put it. Crazy times. Last night was a loss. No other way to put it. But it ain't over. So we got to stay strong. It ain't over yet. There's still a lot of states to go. There's still a lot of momentum with Bernie. It ain't over. And we can't get discouraged or feel like it is over. And we gotta just get the word out, especially to our friends and family in the states that haven't voted yet. All right. In the words of one of my favorite bands contemporarily, one of my favorite contemporary bands, The Hold Steady, we got to stay positive. You can stay positive, but still call a loss, because you don't learn from it if you just try to tie it up and put a bow on it. You know what I mean? Guys, if you want to support this show and the sustainability, please do consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. For a give what you can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content, including my album. And you help me expand the show. I want to start making mini documentaries around city-owned internet. That's more important now than ever before. Because you know what? We got to build this thing from the ground up no matter what happens. And if they cheat Bernie again, we're getting 4 more years of Trump. So we really got to rally in our communities and start changing this country from the ground up. We have to do that no matter what, even if Bernie Sanders does win. But if Bernie is cheated and Bernie doesn't win and we get 4 more years of Trump, well, then guess what? We don't have an ally in the White House. So we're really on our own, more so than ever. And it's going to take getting involved in your community, picking a cause, and trying to instill change. So I'm trying to do that with city-owned internet, because that's an important issue to me. Because without a free and open internet, without being able to exchange information and ideas, what can we really try to fix? You think we can rely on the corporate media to tell us what's really going on in the world around us? We can't. So we need a free and open internet. And that's at risk right now because we don't have net neutrality. So I'm trying to make mini documentaries around that and build a national coalition around that movement. That's what I'm trying to do. And with your help, I can expand on that and making more content available. I'm also doing the Sounds of Revolution interview series where I interview musicians and activists and poets and creative types about what they want to see in 2020. We've had our first 2 episodes. First episode was Jill Stein. Second episode was Douglas Lane of the publisher Zero Books. And I want to do more of that. So patreon.com/Ron Placone if you're so able. And tour dates, I got them. Come on out. Florida, we're coming. March 12th, Orlando. March 13th, Tampa. March 14th, Miami. April 9th, I'll be at Concord University in West Virginia. April 10th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. April 24th, Seattle, Washington. April 25th, Portland, Oregon. May 14th, Indianapolis. May 15th, Detroit, Rock City, baby. May 16th, Cleveland, Ohio. June 19th, Louisville, Kentucky. June 20th, Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to heal together in Nashville, baby. June 21st, Atlanta, Georgia. Tickets are not available yet, but they'll be available real soon. And by the way, Chicago, July 11th, Milwaukee, July 12th. That's right before the convention. We're going to be in Milwaukee. Come on out for that show. It's going to be a good show, and we're probably going to have a lot of guests on that show because a lot of people are going to be in town for the convention. So don't wait. Get your tickets now. That show will sell out. Also, we got shows booked throughout the year. Richmond, D.C., Philly, New York City, Boston, Mass., Portland, Maine, Burlington, Vermont, Madison, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Do not wait. Get your tickets at ronplacone.com. Guys, thank you so much. Once again, I feel a little bit better. I really do. I feel better. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here. And you know the drill in the meantime. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. And in the meantime, Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.